Okay, this video is referring to assignment number 7, Mad Lib story. Now, the first thing I want to point out, typed in some code. I just copied this code that I gave you guys over here in the assignment instruction. First thing I want to point out is you're going to notice in my print statements I've started to use single quotes up here instead of double quotes. And I wanted to point out that that's something that Python recognizes, either single or double. And if you take a look at your keystroke on your keyboard, look at that key. It's the same keystroke right next to the enter key. But when you use a double, you have to hold down a shift key. And so it can be advantageous to speed you up, make you more productive, to use the single quote. So I'm going to start using single quote for the most part from now on. And then you might say, well, then why do they have the double quote? Why do they even allow you to use that? Well, what if I were going to type in a sentence that had an apostrophe? Today's mail is, and then now look what happened. As soon as I used the apostrophe, anything after it turned black and other colors. So basically it's saying, hey, you're no longer typing in text. And so in that case, if you're going to use an apostrophe, then you've got to use a double quote to start it, and then I'd go to the end and I'd put in a double quote. So that's the reason that you can use either or. So I'm going to start using single quotes for the most part. Either or can be used. Then the next thing I want to talk about is, okay, here's a print statement. This is how we've done it in the past. And then after that, when we wanted input, we would assign the variable equal to input. And then there's nothing inside these parentheses. Well, take a look at the next one. Name equals input. So instead of having a print line above it, I have the print line right here inside of the input command. So Python sets this up that if you put quotes inside the input command, open close quote, it will print that on the screen without the command print. It's just a fancy little feature of the input command. It saves some time so you don't have to type 2. So I'm going to get rid of this one. Watch what I do. Oops. I'm going to grab this text, cut it, Control X, and then I'm going to cut the rest of this guy, backspace it, and I'm going to paste it right here, Control V. So now it's going to print that for the input command. And then it sits there because it's an input command. The cursor will still just sit there on the screen blinking, waiting for the user to type something. Alright, let's test this program. Oh wait, now before I want to test it, I wanted to show you one more trick. How the heck can you read this fine font? When I insert pictures of my text, which I'll be doing, my code, I'll be doing that mostly from now on, because I don't want you guys just to copy and paste. I want you guys to have to type it, and then some errors happen and things like that, and that's good. That's where most learning occurs, is when you have errors, then you have to figure out where the problem was. So anyway, what these pictures, they're so small it's kind of hard to read. Here's a trick. You can either right mouse click on this and say open image in new tab. I'll do that just to show you. Then up here it opened in a new tab. Or I can just click on this guy and drag it up to a new tab. It's kind of a fancy feature. Either way, it gives you a new tab, and then you still have your old tab. Now you can see the font. I can hold down my control key and zoom in and out with my scroll ball and resize it. In fact, I could undock this guy so that it's a separate window, and maybe I could bring it down here, and maybe I could bring this window up here. Oops, I've got to shrink this guy down a little bit if I want to. And that way I could have both windows on the screen at once while I'm working. Gotta get a double-headed arrow. So anyway, you guys get the point. You can play around with it however you want. I just wanted to show you that you can make that, you can have control over that picture over here. Better control to see the example. Now, I'm going to maximize this so that we can run it. Let's go ahead and run this guy. And it says, this is a Mad Lib story where your input is required. First, type in the name of a month. Notice the cursor stopped and waited for me, the user, to type something in. That's this command right here. Let's see here. So I will type in January. Okay, now type in the name of a character to be used in our story. Let's go with Superman. Provide any location. My favorite. Oops. Pikes Peak. What ingredient do you like to cook with? Ooh, I like garlic. Name your favorite color. I have two of them and I can't decide between them, so I'm just going to say red and gold. Of course, the Coronado colors. And it spits out on the screen. I shouldn't say spits out. It prints out on the screen. Right here. On a beautiful morning in blank. What month did I type? On a beautiful morning in January, Superman was hiking to Pikes Peak to buy a loaf of red and gold garlic bread. It worked. Yay. Alright, so you guys have some fun. I'd prefer that you guys come up with your own variables, your own story. If you want to use my variables, that's fine. You can use that. But if you do, then I prefer that you come up with your own story down here. Now mine is super condensed. I did that just for the sake of speed here. I want this to be really fast for you guys. You might want to make yours a little bit longer. Now why did I do 2 print lines? I could have just done one long print line and put the entire story all the way across. And it's so that it's easier for me to edit, and so I don't have to scroll back and forth because this window is so small. So anyway, alright, happy coding.